And Jim, before we go, we have some sad news to report from the world of entertainment. Richard Belzer has passed away at the age of 78.
78?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He was part of that original group. I mean, Chevy Chase, how old's Chevy now? He's got to be 80.
No.
Let me look this up.
Come on.
Hold on, I'll look it up right now.
Why, Chevy just seems like yesterday. But it was 48 years ago that Saturday Night Live debuted. But Richard Belzer, I would have never thought be almost 80 years old. How old was he when Hogan brain damaged him? Is the estate going to sue Hogan for causing his death?
Chevy is 79 years old.
Chevy Chase is 79 years old.
That's right.
Fucking hell. So he was over 30 by the time he got on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he had already been performing and...
No wonder he became an old fuddy-duddy stick in the mud.
One of my favorite things was they did a WWF TNT taping at the NAPTY convention in Las Vegas. I think it was that. So the audience just filled up with people they're trying to impress. This is like their booth, except it's a live show.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure what they were going for, but Heenan's on stage with Big John Studd, and they sent Ventura and Johnny Valiant into the crowd to either interview people or get them to ask Bobby Heenan a question. It goes off the rails. And Johnny V's one of those guys, I know a lot of people find him really funny. I can't even understand what he's saying half the time. I have no idea what he's saying. I saw that WrestleMania 3 promo we did when I was a kid. That was like one of those things. I was like, man, one day I will be an adult and understand what this man is saying.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck he's saying there.
You're still not old enough.
But it's him and Ventura. Ventura goes up to some guy and he goes, whatever, who's your favorite wrestler? And the guy goes, Richard Belzer! And they immediately go to the next person because it's right after the lawsuit and everything.
Does everybody know what we're talking about?
You know what?
Is this?
We should talk about it briefly just because I actually think in the lead up to WrestleMania, when people talk about all the things that came together for Vince McMahon to make it work, that ends up being one of the big things that people forget, that even though it was a negative financially on Vince and Hogan, I guess, or specifically on Vince, it was part of the publicity for WrestleMania, not intentionally.
Yeah, and in real time, for those of you who weren't old enough to experience it, this made every newspaper, every television news program, whatever, there was a lot of talk about it. Richard Belzer, the comedian, had a talk show, and he had Hogan and Mr. T on to promote WrestleMania, and it was the old, hey, show me a hold type of thing that you would get.
Well, to be fair, Belzer was obnoxious, maybe coked up, and he was kind of shitting on Mr. T and Hogan in the business, yeah.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. Not only was he being, typical Hollywood smartass, but you could also, and the reason why I know this, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again for the newer listeners, very briefly. If you get a sleeper hold or a rear naked choke or whatever the fuck put on you, the harder your blood is pumping, the quicker you're going to go out. And I found that out the hard way from when Jesse Barr accidentally put me to sleep when he wasn't trying one night. But Hogan is going to, okay, I'll give this fucking TV guy a little taste of a wrestling hold, and it's a simple front face lock, and you could tell Hogan cinched up it wasn't 5 seconds, right, as I recall, but it was a very brief time, but just one of those deals where you let the guy know. But apparently Belzer his heart must have been pumping 700 times a minute from being in this front face lock for like 3 or 4 seconds or whatever. He fucking passed out. When Hogan let go, he drops, not staggering falling like Heyman took the bump at the Elimination Chamber finish. He just dropped like all the bones had disappeared out of his body. And he just crumpled to the floor in a heap and whiplashed his head backwards and bashed the back of his head on the fucking stage floor. And you can see Hogan standing there going, what the fuck? And then within another couple of seconds, the blood starts pumping again. Belzer comes back to consciousness, pops up to his feet, turns to the camera and says, we'll be right back, and turns around his back to the camera. And you see this goddamn flow of blood from the back of his head running down the back of his jacket. he had busted himself open, didn't even know it, didn't remember going to sleep, woke up, pitched the break, and was fucking confused why he had a headache.
They came back from commercial, and Hogan and Mr. T are sitting there with the producer. And you gotta remember, Hogan's like kind of playing along, even though he ends up choking this guy out. But this is kind of the beginning of us seeing the insincere Hogan apology on this thing. Mr. T, there were no apologies. Hogan's like, I put him in a hold. He wanted to see the hold. Mr. T's like, let him die. Let him, he does not give a shit.
I pity the fool.
But this was in the build up to WrestleMania. I mean, they were on there to promote WrestleMania. So instead of just promoting it, they beat up and almost killed the host.
Yeah.
This is before they did Saturday Night Live. These two together after this hosted Saturday Night Live. It was the perfect storm of publicity.
Oh my God. So, and Richard Belzer then sued and won some type of settlement.
He ended up, I remember reading, he bought a house in the south of France and he named it Shea Hogan.
Well, now his family's going to have to file another suit because obviously that brain damage had to contribute to his death today, only 48 years later.
Well, now that he's dead, who knows how Hogan will tell the story. I body slammed him and then he died a day later.
They really replaced Belzer with a body double after I killed him 43 years ago. All right. Are we done here?
We are. Rest in peace, Richard Belzer.